God, I don't want this. Take it. I remember just saying, like, tears running down my face, God, take this. And one day something just clicked. And had been on autopilot for months. And a lot of people didn't know, showing up, podcasting, coming to church. But a part of me was on autopilot. But one day, a couple months ago, something clicked. And I found myself moving differently, showing up differently, and realizing it was residue. I had still been grieving some things, and I
Mm.
remember during the pandemic, and it was a small Zoom group. It was myself, Dr. Carrie Turner was facilitating, and it was maybe 15 of us. It was really small, and
Mhm.
she was talking about some things she had been going through, being very transparent, and she was like, "You're grieving," and she's like, "It's not that you're grieving somebody had died, but you're grieving missed opportunities, you're grieving people that are still alive." And when she said that, it put to
Mhm.
language to what I had been feeling, and I was like, "That's grief," and it
Mhm.
was whooping my tail. But at some point, it was like, "God, I'm tired of this, you know, take it." And he just started, that process, and even now, when I feel that, that little feeling, I'm like, "No, God, take this too." Our pastor, he talks about residue,
Yes.
and it was just
Yes.
a residue of some things of just that ache, and I was watching Prophetess Calloway today, and she did a message on "Healed So You Can Live." And she's
Mm.
gonna drop that mail off.
Yes.
As she
Yes.
said,
Yes. Yes.
she dropped
Yes.
off the mail, and I was,
Yes.
like, going through it like, but you have to read the mail, and when it really sat with me, and she was pointing out that it's not that what you went through was hard or that didn't happen, but she was like, "It doesn't matter," and she said, "It doesn't matter that fact that" not dismissing what happened, but it doesn't matter in terms of it doesn't change God's ending for you.
That's right. That's right.
I was like,
That's good.
"Okay," and she was like and she started, going down the list. She said, "But at the end, it doesn't change God's purpose for your life. It doesn't change His assignment for your life. It doesn't change the oil or the call of the oil on your life.
Mm.
Even if they don't really apologize, if you don't get that phone call, the conversation, guess what? It doesn't matter because your end has already been destined by God."
That's good. Eh, that's really good. And this is one thing that you made me think about, and I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna be hard for people,
Let's
and
do
that's
it.
okay. That's okay. We're
We
here,
don't
aren't we?
care.
Um, sometimes we idolize grief.
Grief is an idol,
It's an
and it's gotta
idol.
be torn down.
We have built up movements around it. And hear me, I teach on grief, I grieve, I talk about grief. I have no problem because I feel like it is an area where people need to be healed. And, somebody told me one time, they were like, I think you're just graced, to lose people and to grieve and to still do whatever. And I'm like, I don't want that. Okay. Who signed me up for that? I
I'm
don't
not one
want
of the
that.
strongest so that what is that? He gives his strongest battles to this whatever.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah, yeah.
enlist for that army.
I'm like, I did
Yeah,
not enlist, okay?
yeah.
But but what I will say though to that to the to the point that we're making, I do believe that instead of understanding that these are life cycles and the reality is many are the afflictions of the righteous, right? Man born of a woman is few days and full of trouble. That's what Job said. We forget those scriptures. If we suffer with him, we'll reign with him. We forget those scriptures where God prepares us that life is difficult and part of life is loss. But what happens is we get stuck in the grief, and then the grief becomes the lens by which we see life and we do life. And sometimes we wear it as a badge of honor. So you're being taught to heal and you're being, asked to do certain things, but I'm grieving, right? I get it. I've lost my mother. I lost both my brothers. I lost my both my brothers and my husband in 2 years. 2 years. I lost three cousins in one day. from a drug overdose, right? I eulogize my grandmother, I eulogize my brother, I eulogize my cousin 4 months earlier, and I just eulogized another cousin, 40 years old. I know grief, I know loss, and I am not saying that it doesn't hurt. It does. To be honest, for me, what I have to fight is not hurt, but being numb. It's like, okay, another person passed away. Not some peripheral person. I'm talking about somebody close. Having said that, though, God is still greater. Outside of community, outside of, medication if you need it for mental health purposes, outside of these other things that we've talked about, God is still greater. But we have to know how to get to him. We have to know how to sup with him, right? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. That's what God is doing. And so when we talk about this idea of experiencing and dealing with grief, that choice says, God, I can't do this on my own, but I know you can. I'm not going to make it an idol. It's not bigger than God. So part of what you hear me saying or see me doing, and the hand of God is on me. I know that he's on my family. He told me he would take care of us, and he's doing just that. But I have been determined that grief was not going to be bigger than the God that I serve.